today's lesson is going to start on page 7 of your note packet, and we are going to be doing area of sector and arc length formulas. So a sector is a section of a circle bounded by a central angle. So remember, your central angle has its vertex at the center, and its intercepted arc, which you find by connecting endpoint of that angle to endpoint of the angle. So thinking of like a slice of pizza, if you took that whole thing out. The formula for that is pi r squared times x all over 360. So pi r squared is actually the area formula of a circle, and a sector is just a section of that. So it makes sense that we're going to take the area of our circle, times it by x, which is going to be the degree measure of your arc, also could be the degree measure of your angle, because since it's a central angle, it's going to be equal to the arc of the angle. And then dividing by 360, which is just the whole circle in whole. So if we're looking at the first one, I'm always finding the area of the shaded region. So my angle is 51 degrees, so that is going to represent my x. So plugging into my angle formula, area is equal to pi radius. Well, they tell me my radius is 16 feet, because that's what B to C is. 16 squared times x, which is that angle, 51, all over a whole circle, which is 360. When I type this into my calculator, I want to make sure that I am using parentheses correctly. So I'm going to enter in, use the division key and not your fraction key. So pi times 16 squared times 51 divided by 360. So that gets me 113.94 because that 5 is bumped to 3. So 113.94, and this is an area, so it'll be squared. Let's look at number 4. In number 4, I do not have the angle of the shaded region. I have the angle of the unshaded. So I need to first find my x value. So x is going to be equal to, well, a whole circle is 360 minus that angle we don't need, and that will get us my x value, which is going to be 234. My radius, GH, is 13. So area is pi times radius, 13 squared, times that angle, 234, all over 360. So typing that in, pi times 13 squared times 234, all over 360. 345.10. And this is yards squared. Sorry, that's a 3. All right. So you guys go ahead and pause the video and try number 5 on your own. Okay, let's turn the page and let's look at problems on page 8 on that second half. So if you notice here on the second half, we have more than one shaded region. We have 2 or 3 shaded regions. So let's go down to number 14. The first thing is they give us R to S, which is not my radius. So if I'm trying to find my radius, that would be like RT. Well, I would need to divide this by 2, so that my radius is 21.5. And then I actually have the angle of my unshaded, which again, if this is 17, it's going to be vertical, so this is 17. So I can find my shaded by doing 360 minus 17 minus 17, so that my x value is equal to 226. All right, so let's plug into that formula. So area equals pi radius squared times 226 all over 360. So again, I am just keeping those two shaded together. You could find them separately if you want, but in my opinion, I'm just gonna keep them together. I don't really care what each of them is separate, though they would be. And that is getting me 911. So sorry, guys, that is actually 326, not 226. So please change that. And that will actually get me 1,315.05 meters squared. 1,315.05 meters squared. All right. Let's go ahead and you guys do number 12 on your phone. Answer an Ed puzzle when you were asked. All right, we are now on page 9, and we're doing the arc length formula. Your arc length is the length of an arc, is in regards to the portion of your circumference. So x is the degree measure of my arc still, which could also be your angle. And your circumference is actually in this formula, which is 2 pi r. So again, this is a portion of the outer ring, so it makes sense that we're doing circumference because that's the distance around your circle. So I want to find the length, not the degree measure, of C to D. Well, that corresponds to this angle, which I don't have, but I notice that this is a diameter. So I can do 180 minus 68 to get me 112 there. So plugging into my formula, again, we want length, not degree measure. So my length is equal to the degree of that angle times 2 pi r, which is 15, all over that 360. So typing that in, 112 times 2 times pi times 15 divided by 360. So 29.32, and this is just centimeters because I'm a length, I'm no longer an area. 29.32 centimeters. All right, let's look at number 13. So on number 13, I'm asked to find A to J to G. So everything but that little piece. Well, I notice a diameter again. So I can do 180 minus 85, which gets me 95. And that's vertical to this. So my whole angle is 95 plus 95 plus 85 plus 59. So my whole angle is 334. My length is equal to my angle times 2 pi times r. Well, they actually give me JH, which is a diameter. So my radius is equal to half my diameter, which is 10.5, divided by 360. So 334 times 2 pi times 10.5 divided by 360 for a length of 61.21 inches. All right, you guys go ahead and pause the video and answer number 11 on your own. Please bring any questions you may have to class tomorrow.